welcome everyone to World Series News and A Million Mums for Informed Consent. For those watching, on October 11, in New South Wales, 70% of the population is deemed to have been vaccinated. That means that those people have been allowed to go out and rejoin the community under much less restriction than has been in the past. However, for at least 30% of New South Wales, they must remain locked up inside for a further 50 days until December 1, when they are allowed out. Presumably, it's because they have now got a population that's been further vaccinated and technical herd immunity has been achieved, and the government will allow us all out. However, this is going to be fraught with all forms and sorts of dangers over the next 50 days that we haven't seen yet and remains to be seen. So what can we do for those of us that are stuck at home, that aren't allowed into old commerce and need to get hold of goods and services that we do need? Well, as it so happens, on the phone today from Advance Australia Fair, I have Rebecca Lloyd here to tell me all about what she is doing for us as a community in exactly this space. Rebecca, are you there?
Hi, Jason. So great to be here. Thanks for having me on today.
Absolutely. Look, it's my pleasure. Rebecca, what exactly is going on with Advance Australia Fair? Can you explain to the audience what it means in relation to what's actually happening?
Look, I think you brought up some really good points in your introduction, and I'm not here to debate, the efficacy of vaccinations or jabs or whatever you want to call it. What I'm here to do today is to speak about, again, it's another blow to small business. And it's like saying, finally, after umpteen lockdowns, the government is saying, hey, you guys can all open up, but because let's say we are at 70%, which who knows if that's the case or not, if we are at 70%, you're only going to get 7 out of every $10 that you could be getting now that you're back open and your shop is open again, which is really unfair. If the government is going to be cracking down and locking down and basically introducing medical apartheid, then they should be the ones footing the bill, not small business again after 18 months. And Advance Australia Fair is all about fairness. We are about mateship. We are about, it's un-Australian to be turning Australians against each other based on their vaccination status. It just is. There are so many think tanks going on right now in the upper echelons of government. Surely they could come up with a better way than giving 30%, if it is 30% of the population, time out. And we just think that that's not okay. So we would like to see those that are saying, you know what, I would like to get $10 out of every $10. I don't want to sacrifice a 30% of potential customers into my store. We'd like to get them in front of people that would still like to shop over that 50 days and have a lovely mateship relationship so that we can move forward to rebuilding small business and rebuilding Australia in the years to come.
Isn't it amazing that just some clever thinking and some good ideas, and all of a sudden we don't have to feel like we are victims of medical apartheid and segregation just because it's deemed to be the only way through this, when clearly it's not. You just can't do that to a huge chunk of the population, and you just can't even do it to one person. So can you tell me a little bit more about how it's going to work, please?
Sure. Well, it's basically a business directory, and that's nothing new. There's been business directories around since we let our fingers do the walking with that famous advertising campaign from the Yellow Pages. We're all very familiar with business directories now. We're all very familiar with getting on and Googling. We're all very familiar with an e-commerce model. Now, there are lots of business directories opening up around Australia who are also against medical apartheid. Advance Australia Fair has a differing angle in that we are a not-for-profit organisation. We're meeting with lawyers right now and getting the constitution drawn up. And every single dollar on the platform that is bought and sold, per se, in transactions actually goes back into a public purse. And then when finally these COVID shenanigans are over and done with, whether we reach herd immunity or whatever the government comes up with that either does or doesn't work, eventually people are going to get very bored of it and we're going to have to move on. Well, that's fine. You've fought the fire, you've put the fire out, but now the house has got water damage. It's got furniture that needs, redoing. You've got to bring meals around for the people because they're now homeless. So we have to rebuild the house. And the way we rebuild the house is by using local infrastructure. And the way we use local infrastructure is by using local household consumer dollars spent in a way that they actually want to spend it. A lot of people are not wanting to use the big chains anymore because the big chains are, some would say, being seen as bullying and being seen as kowtowing to the CCP and other overseas pressures. And so they're wanting to support the little guy. They're wanting to get back local. And this is the way we rebuild Australia, using local relationships with local dollars for the benefit of local communities.
Rebecca, you make some really valid points that make a whole lot of sense. So just so I can clarify for the viewers who are watching this, what you were saying is that the big business, big corporates with obviously government overbearing and instructing them certain ways, it's like they're trying to centralize everything. But what you're saying is, and what the people are saying to me, is that they want to decentralize. They want to get away from these big corporations and they want to operate on a different level using local business, which is the engine room of the country, is small business. So my question is that what you're getting at, and is that how this works? And can you also offer the opportunity that if we all went back to decentralized small businesses, that it would be a way, in fact, that many people could now find employment, which they can't find in this old regime of medical apartheid?
Where do you even start with that? There is just so much gold in that question. Look, we've shopped big chain stores because it's been convenient. You go to Woolworths and it's got everything from your seafood to your meat to your deli, fruits and vegetables, etc., etc. The thing is that Woolworths is all about shareholders. Coles is all about shareholders. And at the crunch, it's all about money. And money is not equal to mateship. And small business is about mateship, and small business is about relationships. And we now see, big business kowtowing, making these stupid decisions. I've gone into a couple of chain stores recently, which I won't say the names, but, they're still doing masks, even though I'm in Queensland right now and we don't have to wear a mask. They've still got their staff masked up for 8 hours a day, which I think is really unfair. But they're also, because the dollar is the centralized deciding factor, you've got people sending things overseas that should be kept in Australia and bringing things from overseas that shouldn't be here. Why are we not supporting our farmers? And if we were having small businesses and connected straight with farmers, the farmers would prosper, the small businesses would prosper, the small businesses would be able to bring on more staff. And so 97% of a country's GDP is based upon small business, and small businesses that have generally less than 50 employees, or at least 100 employees. If we can bring in some proper legislation and bring in some proper community awareness as to what happens when I spend my dollar locally, then we can bring Australia up to the next level, which is community-driven consumerism for the common good. Because we're not just trying to overcome COVID right now, we are trying to spearhead a future so that our children's children can be handed over a nation that isn't trillions and trillions of dollars worth in debt, because big businesses and big government keep making really, really big choices that have really, really terrible flow-on effects for the entire nation.
Wow, that makes even more sense now that you get the idea that big business and big government is serving itself and not the people for whom pay their bills and service their shops. So it's now up to the people to act with their feet, right? This is what we're trying to get to. So how will it work, and how do I access what you're offering?
Well, it works very simply in that anyone that has a smartphone and anyone that has a pair of legs can actually make big decisions every day. I mean, I've been following politics for a while now, particularly in the USA, because, they're so dramatic and it's fun to watch, to be quite honest. But, you've got your Tanya Davies, love her. What a classy, classy, classy lady. I mean, she's homeschooling her kids. She's got a family. She's got a house clean. She's got to do all this stuff, and she still gets on every single day and speaks to her community. I mean, just so good. You've got, your Ricardo Bozies, your Clive Palmers, your Pauline Hansons, all these leadership people that are pushing back and saying, actually, this is not okay. We need to put the people first. The challenge is for the average, Tracy homeschooling mum that doesn't actually want to homeschool her kids, but has to because the government's decided that the kids can't go to school again for the 12th time. Or, Bob, the guy down the road. The challenge for them is, I love what Tanya and Ricardo and Clive and Pauline and all these people are doing, but what can I do? I'm just one person. Well, what you can do is you can choose where you spend your dollar. The government can't control that right now. The government cannot control you going on your phone and choosing to shop with local businesses. And that is how, together, in our singular choices that we make on a day-to-day basis, we work together as a community, together as an army to shift things. Because it doesn't matter what happens, government's going to get their paycheck every single week or fortnight. They're not hurting the way small business owners are. They're not hurting the way, families are they're the breadwinner, or both breadwinners can't go to work anymore because they refuse to get the jab potentially. But together at home, as we make our choices for what we're going to bring into our house, we can choose small businesses, we can choose local infrastructure, all the while knowing that when money is spent on the platform, it is going directly into a public purse that is then voted upon by the business owners as to where are we going to spend this money for the benefit of local communities. And all those decisions are made every single day by hundreds and hundreds, thousands, millions of people without governmental input and without governmental control. It's genius, and it will work if we do it together.
From the white sands of the Whitsundays to the oh-so-chic Melbourne streets, from the red soil of the outback to the quiet Blue Mountain streams, from the iconic Harbour Bridge to the sun setting over Perth seas. No matter where you live in this great Southland, we're connected, you and me. There's no place quite like Down Under. Our landscape's beauty is rich and rare. We're proud to be young and free. From all races, all creeds, all backgrounds, we're all Australian. We're an alliance of small business owners committed to freedom of choice for all Australians. We're here to advance Australia through fairness for all. Together, we are rebuilding Australia, one small business at a time. From True Blue, everyday connections, we believe that big things will grow. We see an Australia proud of her heritage, proud of her freedom, boldly standing strong together to fight back for fairness. In every stage, on history's page, we seek to give an abundant inheritance for our children. Join us and play your part in rebuilding the great southern land.
So how do people watching right now get some more information so that they can share that with their family and friends so that we can really get this moving?
Yeah, well, you can like our page, which is Advance Australia Fair, or you can go to the website, which is the W's novaxid.com.au. I am really hopeful that we're going to change that web address in a few weeks' time, because Australia is standing up together, even those that are already vaccinated, saying, you know what, this is not fair. You can't just fire people because they refuse to get a jibby jabby. That's just not fair. It's not fair. So hopefully we're going to be changing the website in a little while, but if the government continues with its shenanigans, we will remain at the W's novaxid.com.au. You can get on there. Now, we need more businesses as well as consumers on there. There's no point having a platform if we don't have any businesses on that. So you can share the idea with local business owners, get them on the platform. They can sign up now and pay nothing until January, and then it's a lifetime membership. And whatever happens with rebuilding Australia, they will be part of it as we move forward to building a country that we can be proud to hand over to our children.
That's a really fantastic incentive that you're offering for any switched on business. And in fact, all business should be paying attention right now. So if you want to get onto novaxid.com.au, Advance Australia Fair, and be a business that wants to serve 10 out of 10 Australians, that's where you need to go. Free membership up until January. You've got absolutely nothing to lose and 30% more customers to gain. Rebecca, it's been an absolute thrill and delight to have you on the show today. It's the missing link in what we're trying to put out there in terms of World Series News, which is available on our website, worldseriesnews.com.au, and of course, amillionmums.com. This is a website for mums for informed consent, but it's for all parents, it's for all people who need more information about getting through the loops, the jumps, the pitfalls that are being thrown at us every day. There is a way out of this. The way out of it is by the individual person making an informed decision to get involved and to act for their own best interests. Rebecca, before you go, is there anything else you'd like to say just to the mums, dads, and children of Australia in terms of how they might just want to take that extra step, dip their toe in, and have a go the Australian way?
You know, I really just want to encourage people to start to dream again, because a man with a dream will not be denied. You must have a dream. I heard a speech on YouTube a while ago, and it was a fellow that had all sorts of hardships, and that was what he came up with. A man with a dream will not be denied. And we can't just fight spot fires. We have to have a dream for the future. And you will know what to do when you start to dream about the best future for yourself and your children. And together we can do this. We can do this. We can rebuild Australia as a community, focusing on conscious consumerism, overcoming unemployment. All those things can be done as we work together, doing away with greed and self-centeredness, and actually working for the benefit of our future and our children.
Look, that's amazing information. It's been a terrific interview today. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And please come back to us so we can have regular updates, because people really need to know. Thanks again, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Would love to come back. Thanks for your time, Jason. Really look forward to speaking with you again.